show you how to make this in CAD. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the heck is that and why would I need it? But in my situation, I ordered a new bilge pump because mine died last season and wasn't paying attention to the spout size, and it's 3/4 inch. And my old one was using a 1.5 inch when I ordered a new hose last year for my one that failed and never got it installed. So I had this hose sitting around needing to be used. And yeah, as you can see, she no fit very well. So I modeled this dual barb, so it's barbed on the inside and the outside, and printed this out of TPU last night. It took about 43 minutes to print this little piece, and it engages with the barbs on this one, so you can't slip off. And I will say that engages really well. And now this fits very nicely. It's not tight, but I don't think it was intended to be. And the reason why I say I don't think it was intended to be is because this is 1.5 inch barbs for the outlet, and it fits the same. It fits just kind of snug on there, so your worm gear clamps would be doing the rest of the work for you. So now I don't have to buy a different hose. I don't have to try and buy a different outlet port. So if you're interested in learning how to make a dual barb fitting very simply in CAD and 3D printing something like this yourself, and there's I'm sure other various use cases you could use this for, follow along.
All right, how's it going, everyone? We are in Fusion right now. We're gonna create a new part, and this is going to be for the internal external barb adapter, the one that you saw in the beginning of the video. So I'm going to be using Fusion 360, and this is what I'm familiar with. This is what I've always used. This is what I learned on. I unfortunately don't know any other programs like Tinkercad and stuff, or SketchUp. I've used SketchUp a little bit, but honestly, I didn't make sense to me, and I didn't really use it very much. That was a long time ago when I was using it for modeling out car audio boxes, subwoofer boxes. But anyways, what I was trying to get at is that if you don't know Fusion very well, or you're still learning it, or it's not the program that you use and you're interested in learning more about Fusion, drop a comment and let me know. I've been debating on doing videos and like kind of some instructional videos and whatnot. There's a guy on YouTube named Lars Christensen that he's who I originally learned the basics of Fusion on. But those videos are really old. I don't know what his video content is like nowadays, if he's even still around. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. So I'm not gonna go through here and explain what I'm doing. I'm just gonna assume that you already kind of know what you're doing. But we're gonna create a sketch. I'm gonna create this sketch in the top plane. I don't know why I just did that. Work with me here. All right, we're gonna create a sketch in the top plane, and we need to find out what our dimensions are going to be. So the barb fitting, we're going to go over to Google, and I model everything in millimeters and measure everything in millimeters, but I'm not very proficient in millimeters. So I tend to have a conversion calculator constantly pulled up while I'm modeling in Fusion to kind of get me by if I need to convert. But we know that the barb, the OD of the barb on the bilge pump that I got was 19.05 millimeters. And then we know that we need to go to 1, and I said in the video, I think 1.5. It's actually 1 1/8. I don't know why I said 1.5. So that's 28.575. So I'm going to write these down real quick. And then we're going to go over to this real quick and show you. So this was the hose that I'm doing this for, 1 1/8. Again, I don't know why I said 1.5 in the original video, but bought this last year, and then that bilge pump ended up failing not long after, so I never installed the hose because I knew I was going to be replacing the bilge pump. And this season ordered the bilge pump and didn't pay attention to the outlet side of it. So we got our measurements. The other dimension we need is the length. In particular, this bilge fitting or barbed fitting is 30 millimeters long. So we're going to start out with our inner diameter of 19.05, but we need to take into account shrinkage on the print. So I bumped this up to 19.10. I would rather have it slightly loose, and even at 19.10, it still fits pretty snug enough for my liking anyways. And then if you wanted to go in there with some 3M 5200 or something and glue it in place so it's a permanent fixture and you can guarantee that it's not going to come off and everything. But honestly, that sucker was super secure once I got it all installed. So I know that 19.10 is going to work just fine. And then another thing is you can always just print one section of the barbs and just test fit it. And that way you're not using a bunch of filament, wasting filament, and wasting time. So we know our outer diameter needs to be 28.575. I didn't change that outer diameter. I left it alone, and it ended up working out just fine. So I was like, all right, cool. Then we're going to finish that sketch. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to extrude this outer portion of the circle. We want to leave the inner non-extruded because that's going to create our hollow adapter, and that's going to give us our barbs on the inside. So we know the total height or length of this needs to be 30 millimeters. There's 6 barbs on the piece, so 5 millimeters per barb. So we're just going to extrude up 5 millimeters, and then we're going to use the taper angle function. And I found that -10, you could do +10, but it's going to be backwards if you do that. So as you can see that way, so negative to get it where it is going upward the way I want it to, and click OK. And then rather than like what some people might do is go in here, create another sketch, and then extrude that up again, what we actually want to do is we want to re-enable our original sketch, and we're just going to continue to extrude from that's not what I want to do. We're going to continue to extrude from this bottom part, right, that we originally extruded from. The only thing is that now we need to do an offset. So we're going to do an offset of 5, and then we're going to do a distance of 5, and then we're going to add our taper in again. And we're done with that. Extrude. We're going to do this again, and we're going to do an offset of 10 this time, and then add a distance of 5 with a taper of -10. So as you can see kind of where I'm going here, we're just going to do this basically 6 times until we get to 30 millimeters in height. So keep going, we'll get the whole thing built. So this one's going to be an offset of 15 with a distance of 5, and then again our taper. All right, so that's 4. This will be 5. It's going to be an offset of 20 with a distance of 5 and -10. And then our last one is going to be an offset of 25 with a distance of 5 and a taper angle of -10. All right, so as you can see, we now have internal and external tapers. All right, there we go. Now that will engage on the OD of the barbs on the bilge pump and then give me barbs for the hose to engage to. And then we can just real quick, so you can kind of see it a little bit better, do a section analysis. So as you can see, barbs inside and out. Now, let's say that you wanted to create this same barb fitting, but you want it to be smooth bore. So let me show you how to do that real quick. That wasn't really part of what I was originally going to do, but I decided to go ahead and include it in this video. So we're going to create another sketch. We're going to create it, just go on the right hand side of the plane since we're going to be modeling from a side perspective. And we're going to go here, we're going to disable this body, and we are going to actually, let me re-enable this. We're going to start here, then I can take that back off, and we're going to make this 30 because that's how tall we need this to be. And we're going to just make this a construction line and drop this down, and then we're going to start out from here. We need to be 10 degrees. That's okay, that's the wrong way. There we go. 10 degrees and 5 millimeters long. So there's our 10 and 5. And then we can move this over. We want this to be, oh, why are you, what the heck? Why does this not want to do what I want it to? There we go, 90 degrees. I don't know if that engaged correctly. Hold on real quick. We're going to do this again. 90 degrees. I'm going to lock that. Dang it. I messed up again. 90 degrees. Come on. And then we're going to lock that in. There we go. That for sure is where I want it to be. And then from that point, we're going to just go back up. We're going to go 10 degrees. What the heck? Alright, it doesn't like 10 degrees from right there, apparently. So I tell you what we can do. Oh, I see what it's going to end up being. 170 degrees is what it's going to end up being. I don't know why it's doing that. And then this is going to be 5. And it's not going to end up being 170 degrees. What is going on with this? Why are you doing this to me? Alright, this is what we can do. We can just, over here, this is the line we want it to follow. 5 millimeters. And boom. There we go. What does that end up being degrees-wise? 29.6 degrees. That's kind of wonky. That doesn't seem right. Anyways, then we're going to drop this down 90 degrees again, and I'm not going to build the full thing, but this is just kind of to show you. So 5 millimeters out, boom, bring this down 90, boom. All right, so that's just 3 barbs right there that we've got going, and then actually what we can do is we can just delete this line, and we need it to be an outer diameter of 28.575. So let me grab my calculator real quick and do the math on that because I'm not great with numbers. 28.575 divided by 2 is 14.2875. So we're going to go 14.2875. That's how long we want this to be. And then we're going to do another line on this one, and we're going to bring it down and match this at 90 degrees. And then we're going to just enclose this. All right, so we have an enclosed shape now, and we are going to do a revolve command. Oh wait, got to finish the sketch. We're going to do a revolve command for this, and then we're going to do it on, our profile is this, our axis is going to be this line right here. And then we'll click OK, and boom. Now we have a solid barbed external barb object. All right, now we want to get our inner smooth bore. So we're going to create a sketch here. We're going to do a circle. This is the center point on that, 19.10. Boom. Finish this sketch, and then do an extrude up. Click OK as a cut command. Oh, that didn't cut it all. Why did you not cut everything? As a cut command. And there you go. Now you have your inner and outer barb, and then you have your smooth bore for the same diameter if you wanted to do it that way. So that's it. And then one last thing, for your print orientation, print this upside down. So print this face on the bed, And then you don't have to have any kind of supports or anything because these are easily printed angles. It'll print all of this. I did this entire piece in TPU 95, a high flow material by Polymaker, and that stuff has been sitting on my shelf for probably a year now. It was full of moisture and it still printed just fine. I didn't want to have to take the time to dry that filament, so yeah, just took a little extra cleanup. That's all it was. And so yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go into Bamboo Studio real quick, just to make the video more complete. We are going to export this as a step file, and we're gonna 3D printing stuff. We're just gonna import it right here. So this is gonna be, we'll call it the bilge barb adapter. So save that, export it, and then go in here. No, I don't want to do that right now. Go to prepare, and let's bring that file in bilge barb adapter. And then so print orientation would just be like that. And we'll slice that, and there you go. Boom. Your barb adapter is ready to go, ready to be printed. I did this with the grid infill. I just did stock settings. Grid infill, 15%. I didn't do anything fancy with it, and honestly, it's just fine. So if you wanted to, you could up the wall count to 3. I generally change this to monotonic line, and then I usually actually end up doing cubic or gyroid actually might work. I don't know how gyroid prints with TPU though. So I would say if anything, cubic might be a better one. Um, yeah, I feel like that would work out just fine, honestly. And then if you wanted to add a little bit more strength, just bump this up to your 20%. Reslice that plate, and let's see what kind of density that looks like. So, I mean, that still looks okay. You don't want this thing to be too dense. You don't want it to be solid for sure. You want it to have a little bit of give. Um, I honestly don't think the 3 walls is necessary. I think 2 walls is just fine. So, and you're looking at 29-minute print time. That's in PLA, but let's change this to TPU. And let's see, 29 minutes and 5 seconds. Wait, that is not correct. This is what I need to change. I was saying it didn't change the time. There we go. 33 minutes and 8 seconds. 33 minutes to print that little guy. So, anyways, yeah. If you enjoyed this content or if this was helpful to you, leave a like, subscribe, and follow would be cool. I've been saying this since forever ago, but I'm trying to put more content. I've got like a backlog of 4 or 5 videos that I need to sit down and edit, merge together, and get uploaded. But for now, this is going to be just ahead of all that other stuff. So a few things that I'm working on, I'll show you real quick, is I'm working on these Polaris General hood grills. I got one for the XP. This is for the standard 1K. I got these done, and then I'm also working on a CVT filter grill as well. Been kind of modeling on this, and I've done test printed everything, and it's working out so far okay. Still got a few things to figure out on it. I just ordered the screws for this today because this is actually a 2-piece design. And this insert is what's going to hold the mesh, the hydrophobic mesh. So, but yeah, if you're interested in seeing any more of this content, of course, we've got my speaker box stuff that I haven't shown anyone yet. Follow along, like I said, hit the like, subscribe button, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.